Would you please welcome Counselor to CEOs, Advisor to Boards, and Mentor to Leaders, Mr. Hsieh Tsun-Yan.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and special greetings to Mr. Anthony Teo. This is comparing notes about our respective Boston days. Really glad to be here. Initially, I was very reluctant to come here because today there are different activities in different parts of town, and the last thing I want to do is drive all the way to the end of the earth, which is Jurong. However, I gave your chairwoman earlier a challenge, which is send me 5 questions. And if the questions are interesting enough, I will show up. And I emailed her back and say 3 of the 5 questions were not just interesting, but fascinating. Okay? All right, let me see. Now it's 4:37. I will confine myself to 15 minutes of remarks on 1 page on my iPad. And after that, you have no questions, I'll walk out the door. All right? So, basically, if you're talking about a person that has seen the world, I have. I may not be good for anything, but I've seen the world. 30 years with McKinsey & Company as a consultant. 32 industries. So an industry will be retail banking. All right? I've done 32 of them. In 36 countries. Well, for 30 is a wrong number, but actual count. And I have a little document that keeps track of it. In 36 countries, companies have paid fees for me being there, not a tourist or go for a free conference like this one. They paid me fees to address some issue. And I have counseled, now counting 38 chief executive officers. So I'm here today to share with you 4 very simple messages about a good life. The first one is that the education that you are having right now have already built in you all the makings of a great career for you somewhere in the world. I'll say that again. I'm not just addressing to those people that's about to go and collect first-class honors or top the class or gold medalist or whatever. I'm talking every one of you or every one of you who will be watching this tape. Having a good career and living a good life means to me, specifically, doing something that will sustain you maturely, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Sustain you. The fuel for that sustenance is going to come within the activity itself. I'm not telling you anything new that I haven't practiced on myself or found myself. One part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Right now is because that's what I get the fuel to continue to do this year in and year out for 30 plus years. The second message is that whether you can fulfill that potential or not really depends on how well you discover and develop yourself. It's in you. That great career person is already in you. I don't care whether you're first year, your final year, you're engineering or economics. I don't think that NTU has liberal arts here. It doesn't matter. It's already in you by the time you got here. The question is, do you know it? Do you know it? And therefore, the rest of this exercise for your useful career ahead of you, oddly enough, you can be looking for a job, you can be going out there to take initiative to connect with somebody, but there is an opposite side of these activities. And that is the activity of discovery. Who is it that is doing this? Why am I doing this? Or, like Mr. Teo so aptly put, a tough question. Why am I here? So, in discovering and developing yourself, you get to do what you want to do, not what others want you to do. Not your parents, not the government, not your classmates, not your buddies, but you. What you want to do, what you are, and who you can be. It may not be as easy as it sounds, but that's a very important thing to bear in mind. Number 3 is that to discover that, it takes a lifetime of work and courage, because it's an endless journey. Just when you think you know yourself, all there is to know, even at this stage of my life, next thing you know, there's another surprise. There's more to it. If you pay attention to what your body, your mind, your soul is telling you. Finally, now over the entire career, what the world ultimately values. And this is a real UnEconomics part of it. What the world ultimately values, much more than what you are, much more than what you do, is who you are. It's very funny when you go to a gathering, especially a business gathering. The first question people ask you is, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, I'm an engineer. Oh, I'm the chairman of a bank. Well, hasn't told me a damn thing about who you are. Haven't told you anything about this person. But as my little narrative will tell you about my own journey, funnily, it's not all my medals and all my grades, which is, I'm sure, less shinier than the ones you're going to get. Because I have a checkered career as in my academic pursuits. Certainly not my high-sounding career job. But chief executive after chief executive turned to me when I asked them, why do you pay me so much money to hang around? I do not go with anything more than, I just acquired this several months ago, with a pad, blank, no computer, no briefcase, nothing, when I counsel a chief executive. So why do you pay me this kind of money? The answer invariably comes back to, I have thousands of MBAs. And we're talking about Fortune 100 companies, all the largest companies in Singapore, whatever they, some of them may not make it to the Fortune 100 list. But it's something about me. For example, an American CEO will say, I don't know what is it that they teach you out there in Singapore. But when you come here, you look at things differently than my MBAs. Second, I don't know what you have for breakfast. But you have the bloody gall to come to my office and tell me straight in my face that I am the problem. I told him it's Cheerios. It's a breakfast cereal for champions. Which I don't eat, but I just... So, I go home and I thought about what is the common denominator of all those comments, because one of the things very important to keep yourself sharp and engaged all these years is constantly look for feedback from everything around you. And I discovered this very simple truth. The thing that they value most from me is who I am, not what I do or what I know. In today's age, anything that you don't know, Wikipedia, Google, 15 minutes later, you know as much as many people.